What is up, YouTube? I'm back here with another video on KMCH E-commerce LLC. And I was debating on what topic I wanted to do as far as PPC wise and advertising on Amazon, and I figured keep it basic. So first topic here is all about match types. I put together this little slideshow for y'all. I'm gonna try to make this a quick video. I'm not gonna try to jibber jabber. It is a very basic um video or topic, but it's very fundamental to understanding what these match types do and um how they work for you advertising on Amazon. So exact versus phrase versus broad. Which Amazon PPC match type should you use? Let's get right into it, man. So big three match types. I uploaded this straight from the advertising console, broad, phrase, and exact. And I got some definitions here. So exact match. Your ad shows only when a shopper search term matches your keyword exactly in the same order without any extra words or after or in between. So very self-explanatory here. Exact match. You put in running shoes, it's exactly going to come up running shoes for that search term. Usually exact match is a lot more expensive. A lot of people using it. So, you want it for your hyper relevant keywords. And I go over that a little bit here, give you guys examples. So, but yeah, exact match. Yeah, so phrase match. Your ad shows when the search term includes your keyword phrase in the same order, but it can have words before or after. So I'm gonna use the same example with running shoes. You just have running shoes for men or men's running shoes. It can add keyword before or after, which can help you find them longer tail keywords. On to the next, we got broad match. Um, Pretty self-explanatory. Broad match, your ad shows when the search term contains any combination or variation of your keywords in any order. And Amazon may also match it with synonyms or related terms. So, running shoes, that could be something similar to that, keywords before, after, in between, it would do a bunch of things or things that are similar to running shoes. I'm blanking on an example right now, but I actually have something on the next slide that goes over all three of the match types and gives you guys some examples. So how individual match types work, I'm going to use my example keyword wireless earbuds because I'm in the market for them right now. But working with what we got exact match, we got phrase match example, and we have my broad match example. So for exact match, self-explanatory, wireless earbuds. You're not going to show for Bluetooth wireless earbuds. You're not going to show for wireless earbuds for running. Phrase match, your ad shows for best wireless earbuds under 50 bucks, wireless earbuds with mic. You're not going to show for earbuds wireless. You're not going to show for Bluetooth earbuds wireless. So like I said, that phrase, it has to have that phrase. It can't be any words in between that phrase. It has to have that phrase. So as you see, earbuds wireless, it can have, here it has words in front when it says best, and also has it after how it says under 50 bucks. Broad match example, like I was blanking on earlier, this one's a little bit easy. I don't really know what else to say for running shoes. But Bluetooth headphones, earbuds with wireless charging, best earbuds for the gym, wireless audio devices. So, with broad match, you're gonna have a lot of wasted spend finding keywords that might work or might not work. Like I said, it's very broad. Some could work, some couldn't. It's best for exploration and discovery, trying to find the new keywords, especially at launch. On to the next slide. What we got here? I kind of forget. Common practice, yes, common practice and common mistakes. I'm probably kind of blocking that a little bit. Um, make sure y'all can see that. But common practice, common mistakes when it comes to using these match types, okay? Um, Very simple stuff. Like I said before, exact match, you want to use it for proven slash hyper relevant keywords. So you're not wasting that spend. Them clicks or them bids or them bid ranges are gonna be up there. Everyone's using exact match because tends to be, you know, the best bang for your buck, I guess I could say, is very hyper relevant to your product and you know, it limits a lot of wasted ad spend. Kind of like I said before, broad match for discovery and reach, once you're launching that new campaign or new product and you're trying to find some new keywords, things that might work, things that might not work. Broad match is definitely a way to go. It's gonna be a lot of wasted spend, that's just what it is. It's all for the love of the game. You gotta think about it long term. Can't really look at it as, damn, I'm wasting so much money. It's bound to happen when you start a broad match campaign. Broad match campaigns, same along with phrase, as I kind of mentioned, leading into my third bullet point here. You want to monitor search term reports and ad negatives. A lot of people only want to do exact match because they think, it performs the best. broad match, they all perform differently. Let's not get that twisted, but broad match and phrase, and along with auto, I don't want to talk about that too much on this slideshow, but they both can perform just as good as exact match if you do heavy negation. Going in there, once you're spending that money, you're getting that data back. You kind of spending money for data to see what works and see what doesn't, and adding them negatives, and they can perform just as well as an exact match. So yeah, modern search term reports and add negatives. And when it comes to looking at search term reports, it kind of depends on how much you're spending to kind of look back and get data. If you're spending a good amount of money and have enough data, like I like to say like 20 clicks add as a negative, or a lot of people say they how to put a number on things. You can kind of look at it based off the price of your product versus how many clicks, and if that next click does convert, well, is it profitable for you? You kind of look at it that way. And then my fourth bullet point, keyword graduation, like the funnel. I like to think of it as a funnel, and a lot of people say that as well. Um, Basically graduating keywords from a broad or from a phrase or from an auto and put them into an exact campaign. You know, uh, you have a higher bid for it. It's proven hyper relevant. Good ACoS keyword terms from your phrase, broad or auto campaigns that have been working well for you. Graduate them into that exact match. What was that? Okay. I mixed something up with the with the animations here. But common mistakes, mixing match types in the same campaign, kind of like I was saying before. They all perform differently. You have them, have a broad, you have a phrase keyword, and you have an exact keyword. They're all going to perform different. You're not going to be able to make an informed decision looking at that data all in that campaign because they're all different match types. They're all performing differently. It's just a big no. Just a big no. Okay. So let's just stay away from that. You don't need to be doing that. Bidding too high on broad search terms. Um, you know, this kind of goes from what I was saying before with trying to limit the waste of ad spend. You're gonna have a lot of wasted ad spend with, doing broad search terms, and you're gonna hit on a lot of stuff. Sometimes you can bid too high and, you know, just waste some more money when really you'd still show up, a good amount at a lower bid. Negating a good keyword. It's kind of ties into an auto campaign. I know it's a big topic in the Amazon space. A lot of people like to say, oh, once the keyword is working good in your auto campaign, to negate it and put it into an exact. The reason you don't want to do that is simply because you're not guaranteed success on that same keyword in an exact campaign. If something is working well, leave it alone. If you want to add it into, an exact campaign, go ahead. But negating a good keyword, especially in an auto campaign, you know, it's just why, you know, you don't you don't really want to do that. Like I said, you're not guaranteed success if you put that keyword into an exact campaign. And not using heavy negation on broad match, kind of self-explanatory. A broad match can work for you, and it could be, a lower cost since everyone, is using exact match and the bids are so damn high. Um, if you're not using heavy negation on a broad match or phrase or auto, you kind of just cheating yourself. You're gonna have a lot of wasted spend. It's not really gonna be profitable. Um, so yeah, using that heavy negation on broad match, going through them search term reports, finding what's working, what's not working, and go from there. Here we go, the animation stuff. Can we get it to next slide? Thank you. Next slide, summary key takeaways. Yes, it is already over. I know you've been waiting for a minute. But kind of the summary key things, things I want you to take home with you, whether or not already know this topic very well. It's very basic. I understand. I want to keep it basic, but these are the things that you should, cement into your brain, really get it down pat and to really understand this stuff. Um, so exact match, you got high control, low reach, triggers only when search matches exact keyword. And it's best for proven high converting terms, highly hyper relevant terms. And because them bids, man, they go up and up, and you best just, have something that's very relevant and works for your product. Phrase match, you got moderate controls, a little bit broader. Um, a little bit wider scope, casting a little bit of a wider net. Um, like I said, strings when a keyword appears in the correct order with words before or after. It has to have that exact phrase, and it's great for targeting long tail variations. Broad match, um, low control, high reach, triggers for any religious search, including synonyms and variation, and it's best for keyword discovery. So when you're launching that new product, definitely want to have a broad campaign up there. Once you get some data, starting to get into keywords, start graduating them keywords to a exact campaign. Just kind of go from there, see what works, see what doesn't. I think everyone should run abroad. You kind of got to take the loss at the gain of data that you're getting and finding them new keywords for your product that could be winners. And the big no, the number one thing you shouldn't do, and I don't know why people still do it, but do not mix match types in the same campaign. You know, as it says here, you want to keep the data clean and the performance trackable as all these match types perform different. And then also start with broad, scale with exact. Use a funnel approach to refine keyword targeting. Like I said, that's that keyword graduation. Kind of start wide, throw a wider net at that launch. Maybe you have some good keywords already or keywords that are hyper relevant to your product. You want to throw an exact campaign. That's great. You can do that too. But to try and find some more keywords and things that might work for you, you're gonna need that broad. Start funneling it down to that exact, graduate them, getting good low ACoS keywords into exact campaigns. So you're not, some of them hyper relevant keywords, they might be them bids might be crazy on exact. Obviously most of the keywords are going to be higher bids on exact. So if you can find some other long tail keywords, chase some long tail keywords, especially at launch, it can be really good and it can be good profitable terms. And use search term reports weekly, find winners, promote block, and waste with negatives. Like I said, weekly, that kind of varies. That can be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, depending on how much you're spending on ads and the data you're getting back. I don't want you to take that with a grain, take that with a grain of salt. Use search term reports weekly because it depends on how much you're spending on ads. It's really circumstance. That's a lot of PPC. It comes with circumstance. It comes with, something might work for another person. It might not work for you. You can't really think, oh, he did it. Why didn't it work for me? Different category, different, you know, it's all circumstance. You can't look at one person and say, oh, why didn't this work? He said this would work. You kind of have to base it off your own thing and, kind of perform your own tests. But yeah, I think that's the end of the video. You guys like it, like, comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Yeah, man, I hope y'all have a blessed day. I hope y'all enjoy something, learn something, maybe got a little refresher on the topic. I know it's very basic, but for the first PPC video, I wanted to do something very basic and also very fundamental to Amazon advertising. But I hope you guys have a blessed day and peace.